Hello everyone, I Kanchan Shetty welcome you all again on this lecture of Business Communication 1. In the previous session, we have discussed the introduction, meaning and definitions of business communication, as well as we have seen the process, characteristics and importance of business communication. And today we are going to understand the principles of business communication. After that, we will see barriers to communication, and then we will study remedies to overcome the barriers of communication. Now, let us start with the principles of communication. So, the first principle is clarity. In the communication process, clarity of message or the subject matter, that is ideas, facts and opinions in the mind of communicator should be clear before communicating. Means the message is always subject to the test of principle of clarity. It is to be encoded in common, simple and in an understandable language so that the receiver is able to understand it without doubt and difficulty. Second is information. The word information is comprehensive, in which communication is a special kind of transmitting message in a symbolic form. The sender first collects and keep before him the relevant information concerning a particular individual or group of people. The principle of effective communication is to have information and communicate it in a symbolic form. Then next principle is completeness. The subject matter or the message to be communicated must be adequate and full, which enables the receiver to understand the central theme or idea of the message. Incompleteness of a message may result in misunderstanding the subject by the receiver. So the decision making process and the action may be delayed when the message is incompleted. Fourth is in emphasis on attention. The purpose of communication is to draw the attention of the receiver. Whether the message is written or oral, it should attract the receiver. Fifth is consistency. The message of communication is said to be consistent when it is in agreement with the objectives and policies of the organization. Consistency can be achieved if the communicator keeps in his mind the broad objectives, policies and programs of the enterprise. Next is use of informal communication. Informal communication is a type of communication which occurs on account of informal relationship between persons. These relationships grows continuously from personal interest, group interest, social and other informal relations. Informal channel is the most effective one and transmit information with a great speed. Next is to know the receiver. In the communication process after transmission of the message, the receiver is the key player who has to act on the message. The receiver must understand the subject, that is main purpose of communication, while organizing a message through study of the receiver, like his academic qualifications, technical knowledge, intellectual level, psychological attitude, etc. should be done. Next is time. The principal aim of communication is to make the message reach at the appropriate time. Sender should be convey the message at the right and proper time. Next principle is simplicity. Simplicity in communication produces the best and quickest understanding and response. So the communicator must try to achieve this principle for effectiveness. Avoid using unnecessary words, using familiar words. Next principle is correctness. It means the message should be to the point or specific, definite and clear. It helps the receiver to focus on the exact message. Next principle is communication network. It is the channel or route through which exchange of ideas, facts, etc. The network covers the downward, upward, horizontal lines of communication. Next principle is use of media. There are two types of media for transmitting message. They are oral and written media. Oral communication is more effective for certain messages and similarly written communication for other circumstances. The principle of strategic use of media is to be adopted. The need, objectives and the receiver are the factor that should be kept in mind in selecting a medium. And last principle is feedback. The last but yet the most important key or principle to effective communication is to obtain feedback from the receiver. The principle of feedback promotes a two-way communication. Now let us see the barriers to communication. There are lot of communication barriers faced these days by all. The message intended by the sender is not understood by the receiver in the same terms and sense, and thus communication breakdown occurs. It is essential to deal with these communication barriers so as to ensure smooth and effective communication. So the first barrier is environmental barriers. This is the same as physical noise, which could be in the form of distracting sounds and overcrowded room, poor facilities and sounds, all which may create obstacles to listen and to understand the message. Second barrier is social barriers. Social barriers like attitude and opinions, relationships, age and gender, this creates obstructions in communication. In the communication process, whether the receiver agrees or disagrees with the views, attitudes and opinions of the sender, people prefer to communicate and be friendly with the people of the same age group. The kind of relations the sender and the receiver have controls the flow of communication. Third is organizational barriers. In organization, message may have to pass through many levels before they finally reach the receiver. Each level may add to, modify or completely change the message. In the other word, there are likely to be a loss of meanings and the messages may not reach the receiver in the same way as it was intended by the sender. The major organizational barrier are hierarchy in organization, rules and regulation and overcrowded rooms. Fourth barrier is physical barriers. External factors that create barriers in communication are called physical barriers. These barriers lead to miscommunication. An example of a physical barriers to communication is geographic distance between the sender and receiver. Another physical barrier are noise, time and retention problem, etc. Then next is psychological barriers. The psychological state of the communicators will influence how the message is sent, received and perceived. The major psychological barriers are assumptions and perceptions, attitude and ego, self-image and closed mindset, inattentiveness, emotions, etc. For example, if someone is stressed, they may be preoccupied by personal concern. When we are angry, it is easy to say things that we may later regret and also to misinterpret what others are saying. Then next barrier is channel barriers. For effective communication, the selection of appropriate medium is important. For selecting the proper medium, the nature of message, purpose, kind of receiver, number of recipient, urgency, accuracy and time at hand are to be taken into consideration. Wrong choice of channel is one of the main barrier to communication. Next is linguistic barriers. The linguistic barriers are concerned with problems, difficulties either in the process of encoding or decoding the message. It leads to miscommunication. Linguistic barriers are also called semantic barriers or language barriers. These barriers occur due to lack of communication, language or unfamiliar language, lack of language skills, etc. Next is cultural barriers. Today, in multicultural society, people with different culture background work together. The cultural barriers arise out of different national, religious, social values and linguistic identities. When a sender and receiver of message come from different backgrounds and identities, the possibility of misunderstanding increases. The major cultural barriers are norms, values, beliefs, language, religion, time and space, behavior, appearance and attire, etc. Then next is non-verbal barriers. Non-verbal communication includes the tone of voice, body language such as gesture and facial expression, etc. If the tone of the voice and body language are negative, the communication will be fail. For example, if you happened to meet a long lost friend and say, I am delighted to meet you, but in sad tone of voice, the exact opposite message will be conveyed. And last barrier is mechanical barriers. These types of barriers are caused due to mechanical or technical defects or faults in the devices or techniques which are being used for communication. For example, failure of loudspeaker, defective device such as telephone, lack of communication facilities like electricity, telephone lines, internet and other networks. Now let us talk about how to overcome these barriers, that means remedies to overcome the barriers. So the first remedy to overcome the barrier is clarify ideas before communication. The person sending the information should be very clear in his mind about what he wants to say. He should know the objectives of his message and therefore he should arrange his thoughts in a proper order. Next is use of simple language, tone and content of message. Use of simple and clear words should be important. The sender should take care of the fact that the message should be framed in clear and beautiful language. The tone of the message should not injure the feeling of the receiver. As far as possible, the contents of the message should be brief. Next remedy is reduction of noise level. Noise is the main communication barrier which must be overcome on priority basis. It is essential to identify the source of noise and then eliminate the source. Next is active listening. Listen attentively and carefully. There is a difference between listening and hearing. Active listening means hearing with proper understanding of the message that is heard. By asking questions, the speaker can ensure whether his or her message is understood or not by the receiver in the same terms as intended by the speaker. Next is simple organizational structure. The organizational structure should not be complex. The number of hierarchical levels should be optimum. There should be an ideal span of control within the organization. Similarly, the organizational structure more effective will be the communication. Next remedy is avoid information overload. The managers should know how to prioritize their work. They should not overload themselves with the work. They should spend quality time with their subordinates and should listen to their problems and feedback activity. Next is proper media selection. The managers should properly select the medium of communication. Simple messages should be conveyed orally like face-to-face interaction or meetings. For significant messages, reminders can be given by using written means of communication such as memo, notices, letters, orders, etc. Next is ensure proper feedback. The purpose of feedback is to find out whether the receiver has properly understood the meaning of the information received. In face-to-face communication, the reaction on the face of the receiver can be understood. Next is flexibility in meeting the targets. For effective communication in an organization, the managers should ensure that individuals are meeting their targets timely without skipping the formal channels of communication. There should not be much pressure on employees to meet their targets. And last barrier is follow-up communication. In order to make communication effective, the management should regularly try to know the weaknesses of the communication system and to know as to which medium would be more effective and appropriate. So today's lecture is over. In the next lecture, we will see the methods and channels of communication. Thank you.